Hello again. The Church of England has always been much more than a religious denomination. It was for many years a symbol of the English establishment, being famously described as the Tory party at prayer. Until the 1950s, it was still like this, and many churchgoers had no interest in religion. Getting married in church or having funerals, having a child christened was simply what one did, regardless of whether you even believed in God. In some churches, people ask earnestly of each other, "Are you saved?" or "Have you been washed in the blood of the Lamb?" and so on. For Anglicans, such inquiries are generally seen as being in poor taste. It is assumed that many of those coming to church are not really Christians at all. Not if by the term you mean that they believe that Jesus was God incarnate, born of a virgin, raised from death on the third day, and so on. That's fine. Nobody asks. Nobody wants to know. This easygoing and tolerant attitude, though, is changing because quite a few people whom one might loosely describe as being right wing are now identifying themselves as Christian nationalists and have started attending church, usually an Anglican church. But wait, how do we know these people actually believe in the Apostles' Creed? Have they read the Gospels? Do they understand the attributes of the deity? And are they immortally saved? This is all very peculiar because every vicar knows very well that the great majority of people in his or her congregation under the age of 60 have little or no idea about any of those subjects. It has never been a problem before for the Church of England. In Loughton, for example, in Essex, almost at the end of the Central Line, there is an interdenominational Christian school, a secondary school called the Davenant Foundation School. It has excellent academic results and everybody wants to send their kid there. To get in, your child needs to have attended a church regularly, practically from birth. You see, you need a letter from your priest attesting to this fact if you want to apply for Davenant. The result is that every church in Loughton has many young parents in the congregation who are very helpful and make themselves noticed by polishing the brasses, arranging flowers, and helping out at Sunday school. There are many children too, at least up to the age of 11, when they and their parents almost all stop going to church. This happens once they have that letter from the priest and have been offered a place at Davenant. All the local churches know this. All the vicars, the priest at St Edmund's on Traps Hill, the guy at the Methodist Church, they all know this, and they call it the Davenant effect. Here's the thing, though. Although they all know that most of the parents and children are not really Christians, no church ever asks them if they are sincere or worries that they might not understand the doctrine of the Trinity and so on. It would certainly be considered bad manners in an Anglican church or a Methodist one to ask that kind of question. Now, though, it seems that there is a group of people who are to be asked about their motives for coming to church on Sunday. Anybody following Tommy Robinson is viewed with caution, and some bishops are uneasy about the idea of that sort of person attending church because they fear they might be coming for reasons other than a desire to worship the Lord and declare their belief in the redeeming power of the blood of the Lamb. Frankly, this is contemptible. For many years, all churches have been grateful for the help of all those parents who are praying for a place at the local church school, despite knowing very well what a racket it is. It was useful, you see. Who else would run the creche, volunteer to answer the phone, keep the inside of the church looking nice and all the rest of it? Middle-class mothers are dead-handy at that kind of thing. They're indispensable for many churches, and all they need in return is a reference for the secondary school when their kid is 10. There's good reason not to inquire too deeply into their religious beliefs. Members of Raise the Flag or Reform, though, that is a different kettle of fish entirely. Ghastly hypocrisy. In the description to this video, I give a link to a piece from the BBC website about this phenomenon. I cannot help observing that the other week the Archbishop of Canterbury designate spoke in the Lords defending the decision of Anglican churches to help convert Muslim asylum seekers and welcome them into the Church of England. The rule seems then to be that the Anglicans welcome Muslims and atheists into the church, but are distinctly uneasy about Christian nationalists. I think that this is what is meant by the expression swallowing a camel but straining at a gnat.